Let's talk about the Broncos for a second. The first bloke I want to give a big rap to is Jock Madden, talking about the Broncos. His last two performances have been exactly what Kevy needed him to do. And they were contrasting roles. I mean, 2 weeks ago, Adam Reynolds was out. He replaces Adam Reynolds in the 7 jersey. He steers the side around the park. He steadied the ship. He kicked well, played a Reynolds role. And then last week, Ezra Mam's out. And he plays that contrasting role. Like, he didn't step on Adam's toes at all. He let Adam run the shop, and he played very much an Ezra role. I just thought he's been a very important player for the Broncos.
Talking about Reynolds moving on whenever he does, do you think that's what Jock's position is? Do you think that Kevy's potentially moving that on, or do you think that Jock's that good of a player that at the end of this year he can move on and get his own gig somewhere?
I think if you'd have said to me at the start of the season, what do you think with Jock Madden? I would have said, I think Jock is, he's a very good backup halfback for, your number one or number 1, 7 or a 6. But what he's done this year at the Broncos, I think he's more than that. I think he's a bloke that can go in there and run a club.
It goes to show the coaching of Kevin Walters, because if you think of Penrith and what O'Sullivan, Cogger, now Schneider's doing whenever Cleary's out, like there's an opportunity if you're a half that has struggled to find their feet somewhere, go to a good system, learn from one of the best, and then in 12 months, 18 months' time, you might be in a position to either take over that gun halfback or move on.
Geez, on the Broncos, Reece Walsh is a pretty special game again.
Yeah, we've said this about his comparisons to Slater and things. His ability to bamboozle defenders with speed and footwork, and then his combination with Adam Reynolds is developing into one of the best in the comp, because the guile and footy IQ of Reynolds is putting Reece Walsh in positions where defenders are struggling to stop him. Put it that simply.
You only need to manufacture a half space.
And he has taken it. All the way through.
You want to talk about a certain shape that he's just starting to use, that Tommy Turbo's sort of brought out again.
Yeah, it was a second try of Walsh on the week against the Tigers, and it's starting to come into play where they're trying to sell a lie with one decoy runner and then split them with speed. So Reynolds runs across here, dummies to Ricky, and then puts Walsh through the hole. What Reynolds is trying to do here is separate space between the 4th defender and the 5th defender, the 4th being Fainu and the 5th being Twal. What he does is he slow plays the first one so Twal stops. Then he accelerates really fast so Fainu, the back row, follows him. And that gap is not big, but I tell you what, it's fast enough for this guy to get through. Clever play.
And I tell you what, Coop, what's particularly dangerous about it is if you look at the line that he runs a parallel line initially, Reece, righto, to Adam Reynolds, righto. See that right there? It looks like he's going to come around on a block shape. See, that's where I always think the best shapes in rugby league have a mirror image. So effectively, if you're defending and you watch him cruising around on that shape, you're thinking, here he comes, he's coming across on a sweep block. But suddenly that turns into that little next Johnny play.
Yeah, and the speed and acceleration of Walsh up against a middle forward trying to fill the space. That is beautiful play there from Reynolds. It's just a mismatch. That's all you need with someone like Reynolds, because the arms tackle is him to get through and the points to come. And the funny thing is you can use it with speed or you can use it with power, because Tom Trbojevic does a very similar thing for his team, Manly. Sometimes he's on the right, on the left here. Again, it's Schuster ball playing, trying to get Whitehead involved and put him one-on-one with Tarpany. So drifts across, slow play, decoy with the little hook.
Yeah, it's same principle. You can see it's slightly different in the fact that he's not running the parallel line with Shuey there. But same principle. Just holds it up, Whitehead over chases.
And it's just footwork on Tarpany, a bigger defender. So I think the way that defence is dominating our game, and it always will be, teams are now starting to come up with ideas. One, shifting out of their own yardage to create space, but instead of always going to the outside, they're starting to come through with trick plays back to the middle.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it like that mirror image shape, righto? And let's just have a look at. There was a situation on the weekend where Reynolds went to the line with Piakora as his straight runner, and Reece is coming around on that sweep shape. And you watch Naden here. Right, Nathan, that's that little space. You know that little space where suddenly they try to solve the problem by coming outside in aggressively. I come back to an old mentor of ours when I was at Newcastle, Alan Bell. Right, I come back to Belly, and he was just a genius at shapes. I think of him all the time when I see that shape there again at Newcastle. Every single time we called a shape where it wasn't a block to block, we used to call it a bust. Every single time, Robbie O'Davis would be. You'd have Reece on that deep sweep. You'd have Robbie O just sitting really close on the ball player, and we just take that space. This is an example. When you watch Tom, what I'm talking about here. See this? Bang. Daly Cherry-Evans. Okay, he's gone on the sweep. Lachlan Lewis is chased and just come out of the line slightly, and Tom Trbojevic has spotted it and accelerated. Bang.
The other thing too is the thing you can do with Reece, the thing you can do with Cherry-Evans is use them up as bait. Because most defenders think they're the biggest threat in this play because they don't see Turbo. But Reece on the other one, all you have to do is disguise Reece out there like a beacon, say, hello, this is me, and you throw someone else. Like maybe on this occasion it's Trbojevic, but maybe the other centre or a back rower or whoever can come through that hole to go through the space.
Yeah, they used it with Corey Oates last year.
Yep.
As well. Righto, Coops. The other thing I'm really enjoying about the Broncos is sometimes, like, we talk about shot. Hit them on one side of the field, shorten them up, gather numbers, then hit them to the far side as quick as you can. And you don't need to do it with shapes. You just do it. Get the ball to where it needs to be immediately. This is really good from Reynolds. Gathers the troop. 1 under, 2 under, hits short, it drives guys across. Peter Corey does a great job. Gets up, plays the ball urgently. And Jock Madden again, great job. Don't stuff around. Just get the ball to where it needs to go.
Yep.
Sometimes it's what you don't do. Like, not trying to be too clever. Just get the ball out, that traditional shift.
And we just spoke about it. Reece Walsh the bait. What does Justin Olam like to do? He likes to come out and headhunt players. And, I like what Reynolds did by setting it up here and they get the ball there quickly. Jock Madden doesn't overplay his hand. He knows that Olam wants to fly out, smash Reece Walsh, so he just pivots, gets the ball straight.
Jeez, I tell you what, that's a
good pass.
That's a real old-fashioned pass.
This is
the
best thing about wingers that put the ball down in the corner is that we marvel at that, but all the nuances that go on into play. That pass from Madden was spot on. If that's high, low, out in front, the play doesn't happen.
Everybody did their job.
Yep.
That's why they're going so good.